I just had my last stroke development class, so it's time to compare and contrast to see if and how much I've improved my swimming. So let's dive right in. I want to have the same consistency that I did last time, so the only thing that's changed is that I bought jammers, which I highly recommend because that shaves seconds off my average pace. So I have to go back to this parachute, unfortunately, and I have to wear those for consistency purposes. But other than that, everything else has stayed the same. So we're gonna put these on and we're gonna head in and start doing our warm-up and sets. I forgot just how much of a drag this bathing suit causes me, but let's head home, dry off, and analyze the footage. A few things before we do dive into the actual comparison from before and after. I do want to say I didn't really realize exactly how much of an impact that bathing suit had over the jammers, because I bought jammers maybe a month or two ago and I've been using those ever since, and it's crazy how much better you flow and glide through the water, whereas with this bathing suit it creates so much drag. So if you are getting into swimming, I highly recommend jammers. I'm not a big fan of speedos myself, and this is about the most revealing I'll really get to, but it has such a big impact, and it's like wearing a parachute when you wear your regular bathing suit. So highly recommend that. And the other thing that I want to say about having the coach for the stroke development class is it's extremely beneficial for me, even if my results don't really show it as much, to just improve my form and improve my technique and improve my gliding ability through the water. Just because I have someone there live to be able to correct and improve my form live. Because I remember last night I was doing something whenever I was breathing on the left side, my arm was going really short here, so it wasn't going as far out and stretching as far as possible. So just having that person there to say, hey, this is what you're doing wrong and this is how you can improve it. And every single week I had something like that that I could continue working on, and they're just giving me live feedback. Whereas for me on my own, it's really tough for that to happen because I either have to film myself swimming, and that gets a little bit difficult because it's like on the ground, you can't really see yourself, so that's a little bit difficult, and that's pretty much the only way I can really do it. So just having that live coach there to say, hey, this is what you got to work on. And then today I was really trying to focus on that and make sure that I was stretching out and getting a full reach there. So that was one thing that I was working on. And in my previous video, I did also want to track a endurance swim, so that's just me going back and forth as long as possible. And I'm not going to do that for a couple reasons. One, because I would want to have it as similar as possible, so I'd have to wear this bathing suit again, and I have to do it in the 20-meter pool. Whereas what I started doing is I started going in the 50-meter pool and doing my endurance swims there. So it's a big difference just learning in the 50-meter pool compared to 20-meter pool. Even open water swim, I'm learning how to swim in a pool, and that's not exactly what I need to be training for. I need to be training for swimming in open water, but the 50 meter is as close as I'll get to open water without actually going in the open water. So I don't really feel like doing that in the 20-meter pool with the bathing suit. So those are the few reasons why I don't really want to do that endurance swim and compare it. When I do the endurance swim right now, I'm basically around the same time. I have gotten around maybe 1:58 to 2 minutes per 100 yards on average. So I'm around the exact same spot with jammers, maybe a little bit faster. So I don't really want to do it again with the actual bathing suit of a parachute, so I won't be doing that. And surprisingly, the second one that I ended up doing, in the first one that I just unknowingly did lowest stroke count, I didn't know what lowest stroke count was at the time. I ended up doing that to see what I would get. So that was actually the one I was most excited about, because from what I'm hearing a lot from my coach from stroke development class is this is one thing that you really want to focus on, is getting your stroke as low as possible and lowering your time as much as possible. So you're just becoming more efficient in the water and gliding more and using up less energy. So that was actually the one that I was most interested to see if and how much of an improvement I did show with that specific workout. So other than that, let's dive right in and see how I did.
This is my first test comparison. It was a sprint, or just to try to go as fast as possible. As this is a sprint, my form may not be there as much, and when I look back at the stats, I'm not mad about it. I'll share the strokes and times at the end, but my strokes did increase a little bit in comparison, but my time did decrease, which is the main thing. So for this specific set and style, I'm fine with that. Obviously, don't want to see the strokes increasing, but this was to focus on speed, which I improved and I'm happy with. That could be attributed to several different factors, such as the number of times I've been swimming and also the swim class helping with my coaches there and to correct my form. Also, my plan going into this was to breathe every 2 strokes, but I forgot about that and was doing 3 for a bit, and then I remembered about halfway through, so then I started to do it then. Looking at the comparisons here, the strokes were very close and similar, although I did increase a few, and each length was a little bit faster than the previous one, which is promising to see because the main set for this was to see if I was able to improve my speed. Now, comparing the second one, which I was actually more interested in seeing these results as it was a lowest stroke count set, which I inadvertently did at the time, which I'm happy about because honestly at the time I had no clue what lowest stroke count was, but I decided to do it anyways. So from my coach in the lowest stroke development class and another coach that I was talking to during a different swim outside of this is something that you really want to focus on. Lowering your stroke count as much as possible and decreasing your time. This just means that you're being more efficient in the water and using up less energy. This one also gives me a good idea of my form. I'm still not perfect, but when I look back at it over November, you can really see me crossing my arms over my head. That's obviously something that you don't want to do and something that I'm constantly trying to remember to not do. Also from last night, from what my coach told me about my breathing on my left side and not fully extending my left arm forward was another thing that I was trying to remember here. But comparing the 2 different days, I'm much more happy with this one compared to my speed one. Not only did I lower my stroke count, but my time improved as well. This is in the 20-yard pool, so it's obviously not the same as open water swims or even in a 50-meter pool. But when I compare the two, I'm able to see a difference in my strokes and my improvement in time and stroke count. Still a long way to go, but we're getting there.
Well, there you have it. I'm not necessarily thrilled with the results because I did see an improvement, which is great, but it wasn't as big as I think I was expecting. But there was an improvement there, and not only the improvement with time and strokes, it was also the improvement with my overall form because I was watching the video last night and I noticed my arm was crossing over my head, and that's one thing that you obviously don't want to do. You want to be 11-1. So that's one thing that I did improve on with my stroke, and like I was saying earlier where my arm was coming in too soon. So my stroke and swimming really did improve over time, and just having the coaches there really did help me overall and improve my form, and that's exactly what the class was for. So overall, I do believe it was a good investment in my time and money to be able to improve my stroke, learn how to glide through the water a little bit more, learn some new drills and just some workouts that I can be doing off on my off time. And in addition to the stroke development class, I've been doing a lot of stuff on my own, say swimming 5 to 6 times per week. I've been watching and listening to a lot of swim type of content to learn how to improve my stroke, improve my form, and also going into the 50-meter pool because that's a completely different game compared to swimming in, say, a 20-meter pool. So there's a lot of stuff that I have done outside of just the stroke development class that has probably helped at the same time as having the coaches there. But overall, I am happy that I did see an improvement with my stroke overall in the form and the time as well. So we have about 7 to 8 more months until the Ironman is here. So we do still have a lot more time to improve our stroke, improve our form, improve our speed. So that's something that we will be working on moving forward. But we did see a little bit of an improvement through this class, through the stroke development class, and basically all the other extra work that I've been putting in. So I appreciate you watching and checking this out, and we'll catch you in the next one.